Movie Recaps presents Blade Runner. The movie opens in a futuristic dystopian Los Angeles in 2019. Robot engineering has made it possible to create beings identical to humans, yet stronger and faster than the average human. They are called replicants. Some have escaped from off-world and are considered illegal on Earth, so special police units called Blade Runners hunt them down. We close in on a huge pyramid-like building, and inside, a man named Holden is waiting to interview a worker named Leon. Leon enters and sits. Leon seems nervous about the situation, and Holden can tell. Throughout the questioning, suddenly, Leon stands up and shoots Holden through the wall. Outside is an overpopulated neon noir cityscape. We center in on Rick Deckard, an ex-Blade Runner, as he sits down for some noodles. From behind approach a policeman and another detective named Gaff. They say that Deckard is under arrest, and Gaff mentions the name Bryant. Deckard leaves with them voluntarily and travels to the police headquarters. Upon arrival, we meet Captain Bryant, who Deckard used to work for. Bryant tells Deckard that 4 replicants are on Earth and around the city, and they need to be tracked and killed. During the talk, Gaff makes a small origami chicken and sets it down. Brian shows Deckard videos of the 4, who are Leon, Zora, Pris, and Roy, who is the leader. He tells Deckard that the engineers were worried that the replicants would start developing their own emotional responses to things, so they made it so that the replicants can only live for 4 years. Bryant tells Deckard to go to the Tyrell Corporation, who creates the replicants, and try their replicant detection machine on one of theirs. Deckard goes to Tyrell and meets Rachel, Tyrell's niece, as well as Tyrell himself. Tyrell wants to test the machine on a person before they test it on a replicant, so Deckard sets up the machine and does the test on Rachel. Some time goes by, and Tyrell has Rachel leave. Deckard realizes that she is a replicant, but it took over 100 questions to realize it because Tyrell gave her memories, and she doesn't know that she is a replicant. Gaff and Deckard go to the apartment listed for Leon to investigate. Deckard looks around, finds a scale in the bathtub, and keeps it for evidence. Gaff makes a matchstick man with an erection and places it on the mantle. In the city, we find Roy and Leon. Leon tells Roy that the cops were at the apartment and took some of his photos for evidence. Roy is displeased, but they make their way into a genetic eye shop run by a man named Chu. They interrogate him as to how to see Eldon Tyrell, the leader of the Tyrell Corporation, and Chu says it is not easy, but tells them that a young man named J.F. Sebastian can take them there. Unfortunately, they end up killing Chu. Deckard drives home and gets into the elevator. As he waits to get to his floor, he suddenly draws his gun because someone else is in the elevator with him. It ends up being Rachel. She doesn't understand why Tyrell told Deckard that she is a replicant, and she shows him a photo of her as a child. Deckard starts telling her her own memories that she's never told anyone before, proving that she is a replicant, and she leaves in tears. Down on the street, Pris walks along and decides to huddle up under some garbage near a doorway. A small utility truck arrives, and a man gets out and drops his keys. She is startled and gets up to leave, but he befriends her, and he invites her in, which is what she wants anyway. He is J.F. Sebastian. He lives pretty much alone in a large apartment building, with his inventions and toys that he creates. Deckard is contemplating at his piano and has recurring memory of a unicorn running in a forest. He shakes off the memory, he gets up, takes one of Leon's photos, and puts it into a special analyzer. Through verbal commands, he manages to find a somewhat hidden image inside the photo, where there is a woman lying down who has a snake tattoo on her neck. He makes a copy and goes out. Deckard arrives in the public sector where artificial animals are made and goes to a fish maker to see if the scale he found in the bathtub was from a fish. She analyzes it, and the serial number is actually from a snake. She sends Deckard to the man who makes artificial snakes. Deckard goes in and threatens the guy so he will tell him who bought the snake, and he heads out. In a crowded club, Deckard waits it out, spots the girl with the tattoo, and stops to talk with her. But before he can do anything, she attacks him. She doesn't get to kill him because other performers come in, and she rushes off. Deckard tracks her around the streets and finally gets a shot off. It hits her, and she tumbles through glass walls and collapses onto the street. He identifies himself to the police, and we can see that in the crowd is Leon, and he saw the whole thing. Deckard grabs a drink for himself, and Gaff tells him that Bryant wants to talk to him. Bryant tells him that not only does he have to get the other 3 replicants, but Rachel has ran off, and now he has to get her, too. He is unhappy, but says nothing. He then notices Rachel in the distance, and rises to follow her. But he is grabbed by Leon, and they fight. Leon gets the best of him and poises to poke his eyes out, but his forehead pops as he is shot from behind by Rachel using Deckard's gun. Deckard takes her back to his place and washes up. She is worried about being killed, but Deckard says he won't kill her. She asks him if she should go far away. He says it may work, but someone will come after her. He lays down as Rachel looks through the old photos on his piano. She lets her hair down and begins to play the piano. Deckard awakens and joins her. He kisses her neck and tries to kiss her lips, but she gets up and heads for the door. He stops her and tries to break her free from her fear of her emotions. They kiss and hold each other. Back at Sebastian's home, Pris has made herself up, and Sebastian compliments her. She asks why he looks old. He says that he is 25 but has a disease where his glands grow too old, and that's why he couldn't go off-world. Suddenly Roy appears and kisses Pris. He tells her that they are the only 2 left, and she says that they will die too, but Roy disagrees. Sebastian is excited to learn that they are replicants because he does genetic design work for Tyrell. They ask for his help, but Sebastian is scared. Roy sees Sebastian's chess set and asks Sebastian how good his partner is. Sebastian admits to playing chess with Mr. Tyrell himself, and Roy devises a plan to see Tyrell. Tyrell is awoken by a security system telling him that Sebastian has come to visit. Tyrell asks him over the intercom why he is visiting. Sebastian tells him his next move in their chess game. This prompts Tyrell to talk more about it, and invites Sebastian up. They arrive, and Roy confronts Tyrell because he wants more life. Tyrell explains that they have tried different things, but it never works. Dismayed, Roy gives him the kiss of death and kills him and Sebastian. Deckard is told about the deaths and goes to Sebastian's place. He enters and finds Sebastian's toy room, scattered with all kinds of automatons. He comes across one that turns out to be Pris in disguise. She fights him, but he manages to get his gun and shoot her. Deckard then hears the outside elevator as someone is getting off. He readies himself, and suddenly Roy walks in the open and Deckard fires and misses. Roy grabs his gun arm through the wall and breaks 2 of his fingers, then gives him his gun back. Roy starts counting down until he goes after Deckard, and Deckard bolts. He tries to find a way out while Roy gets closer. Roy stops for a moment, realizing that he is dying faster and that his arm is turning white. He pushes a nail through his hand to get some feeling back and continues. Deckard climbs up a large bookshelf but drops his gun. With no time to get it, he makes his way to the roof. He sees it's quite a jump to the other building and turns in the other direction. But as he's traveling that way, Roy bursts onto the roof himself. Deckard quickly turns back around and takes a running jump to the other building. But he falls short and manages to grab onto an extension. Roy is now holding a dove and makes the jump easily. He watches Deckard struggle and then slip. Quickly, Roy grabs Deckard and lifts him to safety. He sits down in front of him and tells Deckard of the amazing things that he has seen and experienced, and that all those things will end with him. And he dies, leaving Deckard to live. Gaff arrives and gives Deckard his gun back. Deckard rushes to his place and finds that Rachel is safe, and they decide to leave together. As they do, Deckard spies something on the ground outside of his apartment. A small silver origami unicorn, left by Gaff. He contemplates it, and he and Rachel leave. And with that, the movie ends. Hey everybody, thank you so much for watching this video. Please do me a favor and subscribe. It will help my channel to grow and improve.